Welcome to my office. Today I'm going to walk you through what my home lab looked like today. We just moved into a new home about 6 months ago and had a home lab before, and we've got a home lab now, and I'm super happy about most of it. So without further ado, let's go take a look. I also want to show off my desk as well. Over the past few years, I have definitely become a fan of a good decent sized monitor, not massive. At one point I did have the ultra wide at work. They let me use that for a little bit and I didn't enjoy it. So yeah, this is my new favorite, a 34-inch curved monitor, and just one of them. I have coworkers who would, get 2, 3, 4 monitors plus their laptop screen, and that's not me. That's too much. One monitor is enough, people. Also, I built these shelves into my wall. Just got to brag about the things you do, so I'm going to do that. Okay, so here we are at my home lab. It's small, but it's mine, and that's what's important. So let's dive into it. Right here, I've got a UDM SE. I have a 16 gigabyte hard drive in there that does my Unify Protect. And then since it's the SE, some of these are PoE enabled, and they're powering cameras and an access point and a switch out in my garage. Actually, not the switch anymore. I had too much drawing off of that switch, so I had to plug it into its own power. In hindsight, I think I have a little bit of buyer's regret on the UDM SE. I kind of wish I had gone with the Cloud Gateway Fiber, just because it's cheaper, and then I would have gone with a dedicated PoE switch and eventually upgraded to a Unify NVR dedicated. So yeah, I don't know. I have it now and I love it. I don't like regretting things that I do. That always frustrates me. But anyway, so yeah, there's my UDM SE. So that's my networking. Okay, so we are out in my garage now, and just wanted to show this off because of the amazing cable management that I've done. We've got a Ubiquity switch that powers a Wi-Fi access point and 2 cameras, one on the front and the back of the garage, that monitor the entrances to my property. And this port here goes down this tube to my house, and there's 2 runs. I guess if I needed more bandwidth out here, I could try to do some type of weird bridging with those 2 instead of running a new cable if I wanted. And then I have a couple extra cables that I've run up into the attic because I only ever wanted to do that once. So if I ever need anything else out here, I can, just use those runs. The last thing that I want to do out here is get a UPS for the switch power supply, just so that if I lose power, which I actually lost power today. We had a super windy day, and for about 2 hours we had no power at our house. So I don't know if I need something that can cover that long. It's kind of an anomaly, but it happens out here in the boonies. So yep, that's my garage. Right here we have an old server blade that I purchased from my previous company, and it's pretty basic. It has an older, I think 4th or 5th gen i7 and 16 gigs of RAM and like maybe a terabyte worth of storage. And honestly, all this is running right now is a Valheim server that I play on with my brother. So yeah, that's fun. And then another thing I have here that I purchased from my old employer was a and then down here I've got a QNAP NAS that I also purchased from my old employer. This thing's rocking 16 gigs of Okay, and then down here I have a pretty old but still rocking QNAP NAS that I purchased from my old employer. And this thing is rocking 4 terabyte drives, and it's running in a RAID 5, so I get, with what you lose. Okay, and then down here I got an old but still rocking QNAP NAS that I purchased from my old employer. Okay, and then down here on the bottom, I've got a old but still rocking QNAP NAS that I purchased from my old employer. And this thing has four 4 terabyte drives running in a RAID 5, so I've got about 11 gigs of useful storage on there. And yeah, I mean, that's definitely more than I need at this point in my life. So I kind of wish that I had something else for NAS, because this thing is loud and the fan always runs no matter what's going on. And really it doesn't get used a whole lot. I have it backing up some stuff for my work. You know, it backs up like call recordings and stuff at my job. And then obviously I have my personal files on there, but it's really not doing a lot and the fan is always going. I have a power meter and I've never tested how much power it uses, but I'm sure it's a fair bit. So anyway, I am wanting to upgrade this, but it has a really old version of QNAP that thankfully still gets security updates, but is not ideal. So this is one thing I want to upgrade. Now, coming up here to my desk, I have obviously my fleet of Raspberry Pis. This one is up here instead of on my server rack because I just plugged this in last week. Now that we've finally kind of gotten done with the projects around our house, I've started integrating Home Assistant into the different smart things that we have. So it's up here because I'm still kind of actively working on it. But yeah, this is a Raspberry Pi 5. I think it just has 8 gigs of RAM and the little Zigbee antenna so that I can do home automation. Okay, so one more thing I want to talk about up here is a little media converter from the fiber that we get from our ISP to Cat6 for, you know, the rest of my network. And you know, we moved here to middle of Utah, rural Utah, earlier this year, and I thought we were going to have crappy internet. So I was looking at like, oh, let me look at getting Starlink or something along those lines, because I just wasn't super confident that the ISPs around here would have good internet. I've lived in big metropolitan areas. I lived in Salt Lake, I lived in Las Vegas, and maybe it was just like the neighborhoods we were in, but we've never had gig internet. It's always been, you know, 300 to 500 megabits per second. So way to go, Emory Telecom, for having great internet for rural people. So anyway, this is a small home lab, but it's my home lab and I love it. So thanks so much for watching. And I mean, I'm going to show a list of projects that I want to do here on my screen and things that I am hopeful to do here in the future. But I mean, that's how everyone's home lab is. So